To be honest with you, I am absolutely fed up with beating about the bush. Phase 3 of the Lambred Limited business plan is entitled Lambred Energy. All plant matter can be processed into ethanol, and that includes hemp. Hemp is 77% cellulose. Lambred will endeavour to communicate with government in order to build the UK's first experimental pyrolysis energy producing plant, utilising perhaps wind, water and solar as alternative power sources to help provide some of the pyrolysis plant's own energy for the processing of hemp and other biomass into ethanol and sulfur-free charcoal to cut down on sulfur particulates emitted from conventional power stations, and in so doing lessen the threat of global warming and global dimming. We at Lambred envisage 90% of the Earth's energy needs coming from biomass, with as much as 80% coming from hemp. Where would hemp be grown? In 2002, 32,000 hectares of agricultural land lay fallow in the UK. Those 32,000 hectares could have yielded 60 million litres of sulphur-free hemp biodiesel, plus tons of sulphur-free charcoal for burning in conventional power stations. Sadly, those 32,000 hectares are spread over the whole of the UK and not within a 50-mile radius of a pyrolysis plant. There is much debate as to whether the UK has enough land to produce enough hemp to make hemp biodiesel economically viable in the UK. Lambred would advise the development of an experimental pyrolysis plant situated in the centre of a 50-mile radius, where farmers are asked to or choose to grow hemp abundantly, and if that proves viable, create regional pyrolysis plants all over the nation. Engineering universities in the region chosen for the experiment need to be involved in the design of the pyrolysis plant, which needs to be built in close proximity to a conventional coal-burning plant in order to cut down on costs of charcoal transportation. The ethanol produced could provide the fuel that drives the regional public transport system. How could our nation produce enough hemp to make a pyrolysis plant economically viable? We were once a nation of farmers. We then became a nation of shopkeepers. We have now become a nation of gardeners. All over our nation, garden centres are blossoming. Lambred Industries would advise the government to commission the making of a television documentary which portrays the whole historical hemp truth to the people of the United Kingdom, requesting they grow a minimum of 10 hemp plants in their garden every year for collection at local collection points at harvest time. Gardeners could learn to appreciate the bush for its looks alone and donate the dying plant at the end of the growing season to the regional pyrolysis plant. There are plants grown today in English gardens which are far more damaging to health if smoked or eaten than hemp. It is time to truly educate the nation. In conclusion, we have farmers being paid for growing hemp, and farmers need an annual income. They've been badly pressed over the last few years. And we also have gardeners growing hemp in their back garden lands within a 50-mile radius of the pyrolysis plant, because they know their 10 plants are contributing to a little bit of clean fuel, which will help fight the battle against climate change, or should I say global warming, because climate change is happening all the time and is a term sent to placate the masses. And it was all done through an honourable and honest televised hemp documentary. Perhaps the documentary should be called Hemp for Shed: Sustainable Human and Environmental Development. Why not? But if it proves economical to do this in the UK, Brian, imagine the vast unused swathes of land in Russia, the Ukraine, Ethiopia, the Sudan, Niger, India, Bangladesh, Iraq, Afghanistan, Brazil, Canada, Australia, and last of all, those that made hemp illegal in the first place, the USA. The USA has a land bank which could be used for agriculture and could, so I'm led to believe, provide for the USA's energy needs if they grew hemp. In the present, they remain the world's greatest polluter, even though they know they need not be. In 1943, the US Department of Agriculture produced a film called Hemp for Victory, and then promptly banned hemp again after the war, but carried on importing it from India. Duh. These nations that I mentioned have lands which have never seen a plough, lands where a person could walk and not meet anyone for 200 miles. These lands are ideal for hemp and ideal to create new cities with pyrolysis as that city's main industry, remembering also that a 50-mile radius around the city has hemp as its major crop. Thousands of pyrolysis plants all over the world will reverse the effects of global warming and global dimming. The Prime Minister, Mr. Blair, has shown great interest in the use of alternative energy and innovation, but the Department of Trade and Industry and the Department for Works and Pensions shows no regard for hemp as a mix in that source of alternative energy, and innovation for Lambred have received no confirmation or replies from the Department of Trade and Industry, and have only been pushed further down the ladder as far as the Department of Works and Pensions are concerned. And with that, Brian, I think I will call an end to the proceedings. There is more evidence. There is a lot more evidence that can prove that hemp is the world's most sustainable crop for biomass, and I do have plans concerning the nations mentioned above. So, and earlier on. The rest is up to you. Hemp is the way, Brian. Hemp. And the UN says it's okay too. Honest. Believe me. The UN says you can use as much hemp as you like for it, for industrial purposes. Grow hemp. That's what I say. Bye-bye.